Hey guys, welcome to the group. We are live in our coaching call this week, and I just want to kind of start with a few things that we have not addressed for a little while. So if you're new into the group, if you guys have any questions at any time, you guys can drop them in the comments down below. Doesn't matter if you're watching the recording of this or if you're watching it live. But what we're going to be doing heading forward is just giving you guys some live coaching calls. One you guys can participate in. You can bring your questions that you have currently. So whether you're in a gym right now working out, you're working on some nutrition yourself, if you have questions about hormones, metabolism, hey, should I take this supplement, anything that you guys can think of, we're going to make sure that we answer your guys' calls. And the nice thing too is we do this to all of our clients that we work with. If there's a question that you have, but you just don't know what it is, I will reach back out to you guys individually and I will make sure that you guys get the follow up from your question. Because usually most people have the same question and it's nice to just give everybody that same that same answer so that way they can work on it as well. If it's more private and you want to reach out individually, that is totally fine as well. I totally get it and understand. Now, as we kind of go through these coaching calls, things come up and things change. Some people can make the calls and some can't. If you know somebody that is not a part of this group yet, that would be really helpful for them just to understand a few more things to get them over the hump, a lot more clarity on certain situations and things, then absolutely let's make sure that we can help them. And that at the end of the day is what we're looking for. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is providing good information for you, something that you guys can work on, some actionable steps, and it's going to leave a lot of changes and positive changes in your life and help you ultimately get to where you want to be at with your goals. So what we're going to be working on today is just covering, why most people, over the age of 35 can't lose weight and really how to fix it. So if you don't know as much about the program that I have or use with our clients, we help anyone that's over 35, men or women, lose weight. That's sustainable, that's not restrictive, that's not punishment, something that can be a real transformation and a lifestyle change for you. So what we want to do today is kind of make sure that we're, going through the real hormonal blockers that keep fat stuck. And really what it is breaks back down to insulin resistance. It breaks back down to cortisol dysregulation, thyroid function, and estrogen dominance. So I get a lot of guys saying, hey, this seems like it's a women's program. There's like, are these just all female related? And the truth of the matter is this is men and women. Some just have a little bit different symptoms than others, but these are things that we also need to work on as men and as women. So this isn't one shoe fits all. It does fit both. So I want to make sure we give you guys some steps to work on. That's going to help you guys start feeling better. So we're going to go through some stress management hacks as well, some dieting strategies, and then some simple ways to move your body and some hormonal friendly eatings as well. So if you're just tuning in, drop a comment down below. Let's get you guys live here. We'll get you guys kicked off. I'm gonna give you guys one moment. All right, guys. So the one thing that we want to take a look at when you join my program is it's not just surface level things, not just, hey, what are you doing for nutrition? What are you doing for your workouts? It's really much more than that. And the only way that we can do that is through testing. So we actually have all our clients run through a hormonal panel that gives us a really good information about what's happening. So how can we help you with nutrition, workouts, lifestyle if we're actually not addressing the root cause? So what if you're estrogen dominant? What if your progesterone is really low or really high? What if your thyroid function's off? But we start making these surface level moves when it comes to nutrition and lifestyle, but we really haven't addressed the real cause. So maybe you've gone through this, you've lost weight and then you've gained back weight. This is essentially what we're talking about here. So we want to make sure that we are really doing our homework on that side. So we send all of our clients a kit to get processed and then they fill out. They send it back to the test facility and then we get all of our results. So now from there, we can give you guys better clarity on how do we actually see this. So a few of the hormone blockers. So the first one's going to be, estrogen resistance. So, as we age, our cells can become less responsive to insulin. So it's going to lead to higher blood sugar levels and increased fat storage. Really, really particularly right around that, stomach, midline, abdominal area. Now, when this happens, it just makes, weight loss really more challenging and difficult. So if you've been stuck with kind of feels like, a tire on your stomach or just feels like your stomach's protruding more than it has in your clothes, it could be insulin resistance. We want to make sure that we are really make sure that we're working on this. So things like reducing some refined carbohydrates, and really actually increasing our fiber intake overall. This is going to help, really increase your overall insulin sensitivity. And, nice thing about now is if it's summertime or warm out, you guys have an abundance of fruits that you guys can consume. And this really helps make sure that you stay right on track with your blood sugar levels. The second one is cortisol dysregularity or dysregulation. And so what does this look like? It looks like elevated stress levels throughout the day. So it can lead to increased appetite, cravings for high calorie foods, and just fat accumulation right around that midsection. So if you're stressed all the time at work, or you have a stressful project you're working on, or your support team at home just isn't as strong that you wanted to, and it's really stressful, it can lead to you wanting to eat more. That's where we see kind of some of the emotional eating. And what ends up happening is a lot of cravings. So we start craving sugars, sweets, a lot of foods in the pantry. Now this is where we can start seeing a lot of fat accumulation kind of start uh, increasing and kind of building. So what can we do to help this is, just different techniques to work on your mindfulness in there. Regular exercise too is going to help out. But, what I like to look at is if we're having cravings and increased appetite, things like that, I'd really like to take a look at your overall food intake. What are you doing on a day-to-day level? And then are we eating enough food? Because even if you're trying to lose weight, we got to make sure that we're eating enough food, not just a little bit. A little bit can actually hurt your metabolism more than can help it. So something to think about, as you guys keep progressing and maybe write some notes down as well as maybe I'm not eating enough. How much would be enough? I always recommend, 100 to 150 grams of protein per day just to get your foot in the door of finding that consistency. And then from there, you can build or lower depending on where we're at. But generally, you want to be in that range. It's healthy, it's appropriate. So just something to think about, on that end. And then also too is, looking at thyroid function, which, the one thing I found out working with a lot of women recently, or not recently, since we started our company, was that they weren't testing all four sections with the thyroid, and that led to a lot of information not being told to them that they may have an issue with their thyroid because the test came back as it was fine, but we ended up finding out that there was a major issue linked to that. And so this is the whole causation. We want to make sure that we're finding the root cause of what's going on, not just you should do this or that, or everything looks fine. Well, did you get tested, every year on this? Because that's going to lead into finding out more about what's going on. So thyroid's huge. If you guys have any sort of issues with your thyroid, it can lead to slow metabolism and then obviously leading to weight gain. Or if you guys have trouble losing weight and it's been a long time and you've tried different things, this could be something that, really, really impacts where you guys are at with your goals. Now, we can look at managing the thyroid in different ways, depending if it's in my scope or not. We make sure that we help you guys get the right support on that side because it's really, really important to do it the right way. We want to make sure we're not doing it the wrong way. And then number four is estrogen dominance. Now, I would say two things come into play when you join the program. You guys get your test kit as either estrogen deficient or over the top, or progesterone is really low or it's really high. Those are the two big areas that I see a lot. And so when it looks at estrogen dominance, now when we mix that in with your progesterone, it can lead to weight gain. And if your levels are high, you're going to see that right around your hips, your thighs, and midsection. So I would say over the last 5 tests we've done on women, their progesterone has been almost zero. Like it's been so low that I had never seen it before, and we reached out to the company that we work with to make sure everything is okay. The tests were, done appropriately because I don't know if you feel this, or men or women, but if you feel like your legs, your thighs, your hips just can't seem to lose weight, well, let's really take a look at what's happening in your progesterone and estrogen. Because if those areas are off, don't blame it on the food, don't blame it on your workouts. Maybe you're have an area that's a trouble spot in those two areas, and now we can find the root cause, guys. It's not about changing up all your nutrition, but if you don't know if your estrogen's high or low or your progesterone, then you can say bye-bye to the results you want that are going to last a long time. You can join any program, you're going to lose weight, it's going to gain back. You're going to keep going through that cycle, but the fact of the matter is you don't know what you don't know. And so we want to make sure that we know those levels and we're addressing them. So if you're able to lose weight, but really not right around that hips, back, legs, kind of those thighs area in your midsection, well, maybe you have an estrogen or progesterone issue that really need to work on. And so we can make some dietary adjustments. We can work on the fiber intake as well. And then we can make sure that we're, recommending the right amount of supplements or the appropriate ones based on what you guys are intaking for an extended period of time. Depends on where your ads are at and the goals you guys need to reach. So I would say those are the 4 big ones. So those again are insulin resistance, cortisol dysregulation, so stress, thyroid function, and then estrogen, progesterone, looking those areas. If there's anything that we need to address and work on as being the big indicators when it comes to where do you guys want to be, how long you guys been stuck where you guys are at, and what's the truth of the matter of helping you guys get to where you guys want to be. So if you guys have any questions on any of those 4, let's drop those in the comment. I'll give you guys a minute to do that, and then we'll move on to some action steps that you guys can start doing right now. These are action steps that I actually take my clients through currently, whether they're day 0 or whether they're 9, 10, 12 months into the program. We want to make sure that we're still focusing on a few of these tangible items. So I'll give you guys a minute just to drop any comments down below if you guys have any. Oh, for some reason, all my posts are not showing for some reason. So so we'll see. We'll see if it keeps working. The comments keep working or not. Like I said, you guys can always drop a Okay, so we're gonna drop a couple in there. Let's keep carrying on. I know we're about 13 minutes in. Now a few things, as I alluded to when we first started going through our coaching call, is it's not just giving you guys things to work on to lose the weight. And I'm very clear with anybody that wants to join the program is if you're doing it just to lose weight, I really don't want you in the program because you're not there for the right reasons. I want people that are there to transform their life. They really want to make these changes that last a long time, and they want to get to the bottom of why things have been the way they've been, and how can we continue to make adjustments and improvements, based on where their current goals are. And that's one of the biggest pivots I did when I started this company was, really making sure that we're true to the person that joins the program. We're genuine, we're authentic, but we're really understanding what the root problem is. We're not giving you fluff, not giving a cookie cutter program to follow. Everything is really tailored to based on where things are. So let's dive into some of the action steps, which are kind of fun. And if you're doing some of those, great. Like if anything, can you accelerate it? Can you make it better? Can you improve it? So action step number 1 is stress management hacks. So techniques could be, incorporating some mindfulness. You can do some meditation, yoga, which are, really popular, but, just doing some physical activity. If it's nice outside, go outside, move around, get involved in nature. It's going to help just kind of relax yourself. Get away from your technology, get away from your phone, your computer, your laptop, anything you guys have. That just brings out some cortisol, some stress. But then also too is if you do have any issues with stress and you don't know how to manage it right away, They have a stress bundle with Thorne, and if you guys don't know who that company is, I can share a link down below. Just comment, and I can get you guys all set up. You guys get about 25% off, something along those lines. But it's not a one side. Well, it's not something that I would recommend doing forever. I would say if it calms you down and it brings your stress levels down, then great. But at some point, we have to make sure that this is something we're working on managing. So if it's writing in a journal, that's great. Write down the things you're grateful for. Write some of the things you want to improve down by yourself because that's something that's tangible that you can actually control. If you have people that have, breakdowns or episodes at work and there's conflicts, you should be able to start to handle those a lot better and improve those situations just by being more aware of that. So that's number one. Number two is going to be reverse dieting and kind of adjusting nutrition. So we want to gradually increase calorie intake after a period of restriction. It's going to help boost your metabolism and prevent weight regain. So when do we do this? Well, we do this when we plateau. We do this when we have different symptoms kind of start to come back up or they are up already. The biggest thing I could tell anybody with nutrition is that we are eating an appropriate amount of food. So protein is king. Always has been, always will be. That's where I would start today. If you're like Justin, stress management, I get it. I can start writing down things that I'm grateful for, things I need to improve on. Number two, with nutrition, what's something that I can work on right now is making sure that you're eating enough protein. Remember, I said this before, you could eat your ideal body weight in grams, that would be helpful. But if you don't know where to begin because that's too much, 100 to 150 is what I recommend. And that gets you in the ballpark to eating enough food. What ends up happening as well, guys, is you're not starving. You don't have as much cravings for sugar or sweets. But then also, too, when you lose weight, you don't want to lose muscle with yourself. And so a lot of programs that I've seen, even still see, they lose a lot of weight, but they look so thin, they don't have any muscle left. And it's because they've decreased all three macros instead of certain areas. So make sure you guys are eating enough protein. And if you're craving and starving, you're not eating enough. So something to really think about when it comes to the protein side of things. That was probably the biggest thing that I would say the biggest takeaway that you guys can work on on that side. The strategic movement side of things, I get all walks of life for questions on this. When it comes to movement and exercise, the first thing you guys can do is move first thing in the morning, 20 to 30 minutes. Get up and walk. It's going to be super beneficial for a lot of different areas. Then when you get back from your walk, go right into drinking a nice glass of water and start with your either your supplementations or making sure you get your breakfast in first thing in the morning. If you guys are working out, focus on strength training. If I could write a workout program for you, I would say strength train 3 times per week, walk the rest of the time, and during your strength training days, you're going to be in such a better position for weight loss, but then also just how your body fat mobilizes is going to be in a way better state. So if you can walk more, 10,000 plus steps. It might seem super simple, seems like you've heard it 10,000 times, then why aren't we doing it? If you look outside when you're coming home from work or at night, who's walking? It's the old people. Who's walking in the morning? Old people. Why do they have it figured out? Because they know that it's going to help support their metabolism. It's good for movement. It's good for digestion. And it's something that's long play. So we're not looking at something you're doing for 6 weeks, something you do for the rest of your life. So make sure that we're incorporating strength training. If you don't know where to begin on that, just comment over, message me over if you guys just don't feel comfortable reaching out as a group, and that's totally fine. Let's get you guys something that can actually help you. And if you're working at a gym right now, let me know what you're doing right now, and then we can help make some small adjustments or tweaks because it might just be that easy that can help you actually start seeing the changes you want. Just got off a call with Mary and her son, and 2 weeks in, week and a half in, he's hitting a lot of performance results in the gym. And we've done just a few adjustments on what he's doing now. And so that could just be it, guys. You might have the right keys, you just don't know which one to use to turn it on or turn it off. And so if you don't know, you have to ask. Let's make sure we get this figured out. And then the last one is for techniques is going to be just really making sure that we're eating whole foods rich in fiber, some healthy fats, and we talked about this before, but really lean protein. It's going to help you guys out in so many ways. So fiber is really great. If you're looking at, hey, Justin, how much should I be consuming in a day? I would start off if you can hit 20 to 30 grams, that's what I recommend per day. If you have any digestive issues leading up into that, just let me know. That's probably the biggest question, especially because fruit's kind of in abundance when it's warm outside or it's summer. We have more of it. It's cheaper. It's more, accessible to us. So if you guys have any questions on that as far as how much to consume, I see a lot of my clients right now using fruit as their carbohydrate source, which I'm a big fan of because it's easy and simple, and it does truly help you guys reach your goals, but it's something you enjoy. I don't want you guys to ever feel like the things that I'm eating just suck, taste like cardboard, and you have to dip it in ranch all the single time. That's not what we're looking for when it comes to lifestyle changes. So those are my 4 action steps. How do we manage stress? And the first thing is just being aware of it, and then how can we manage that? The next thing is dieting. And dieting isn't just losing or cutting a bunch of calories. It's actually making sure that we're eating the right amount of foods for your body type. The next one is just some strategic movement. So we want to make sure that we are combining strength training with some aerobic exercises, but really getting a lot of walking in. I actually don't have a lot of my clients really focus on workouts for you know 4 weeks to 4 months. It just really depends on where they're at, but most people not really worried about workouts. You guys know what that is all about. The next one is just working on some friendly foods and making sure that we're really focusing on whole foods. They're rich in fiber, healthy fats, and then you're making sure you're eating the right amount of proteins as well. So those are my action steps. So we talked about so far, what are the core hormonal blockers? It's going to be insulin resistance, cortisol dysregulation, thyroid function, and estrogen dominance. So this would be number 4. And then what are some action steps you can take to help navigate some of those areas? Stress management, reverse dieting, strategic movement, and then making sure that we're doing some hormonal friendly foods as well. And if you're just tuning in, we talked about that. I always make sure that with any of my clients that join the program, that they get their test kit sent right away. So that way, when they start the program, they can see what's deficient or what's overabundant. So it was something too high, too low, and we can actually work on improving those areas instead of just covering it up with do this workout and I don't know why it's not working, or hey, eat this food and I tell you why, but it's not working. You lost some weight, but it's still where it's not supposed to be. And so now we can actually take the science into it and say, okay, yep, you're right. This is not working because of X, Y, and Z, but we pair it with the right amount of workouts, the protein, the habits, our coaching, and our conversation, because you're as unique as anybody else. You don't have the same life or schedule as somebody. So let's work together on improving those certain areas and let's make sure it's fun. Last thing I want you guys to do is join this program and ever feel like this just isn't fun. It's not something that I'm enjoying. The foods are too restrictive. The one thing you always tell me is, if you guys enjoy, having pizza and drinks on a Friday night, go do that. Have fun. Live your life because one, it's too short, but that's not the only reason why you're not seeing the changes. But if you're taking away from the joy of things, then life in what you're working on becomes more challenging. So something to think about. And if you guys are on the fence, you guys are like, hey, I'm really interested. I want to kickstart this. I want to learn more about the program. How does it work? What's the flow? How do you work with somebody like me? I've done so many different programs, or I just don't know where to begin because I've got a lot going on in my life, things along those lines. Just comment down below. I'm going to get you guys all set up. I'll send a link down below as well. You guys can click on. Once you guys click the link, it'll send you guys over to a calendar to schedule a call. I'll send you guys everything you guys need to know about the program, how it works. Can we actually help you or not? And I'm very clear. If I don't feel like I can help you, I will guide you guys in the right direction. I want you guys in the program, but only in certain reasons because you're really, really ready to transform your life. You're done with the life that you're currently living and waking up to every day. And then 2, I want to make sure it's the right fit. I can actually help you. If I don't feel like I can help you, I'm not going to have you guys join the program. It's just that simple. And it's not fair for you to join something that I had you guys join, but can't really actually help you guys. So I hope this is helpful. This is only week 1. We'll post this on YouTube as well. But like I said, if you feel like somebody's in the position that they're just not they're over 35, they're stuck, they're in a rut, they're in a pinch, they've done yo-yo dieting, different crash diets, they've done pellets, they've done whatever else you can think of underneath the sun, things just aren't working out. Send them over to the group. Let's have a chat. Let's see what's going on and see if we can truly help them, get to the goals that they want to see and really understand why and what's holding them back. Because I feel like it's deeper than just what you can eat every day and what you can do for workouts. That's just the hard science and the truth about it. But I'm so happy that we got this group back up and running and it's live. And we'll do this once a week. And if there's any topics that you guys can think of, always drop them in the chat. But this gets you guys an idea of what's involved in the program. How are we different from everybody else? Anything you've tried in the past? And I never knock anybody from the past. I take everything that you guys learned from your current or past programs and I accelerate them and I use them to your advantage because you worked really hard on using them. So, not something that we just neglect and say, oh, that was just a bad thing. Let's use it to our advantage and use it as a tool. A lot of positivity in the program, not a lot of negativity. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I'm going to end this live call. I will send my link over down below if you guys have not yet clicked on it, just to schedule a call with me. Any questions you guys have about the program, any questions that you guys have that you're currently working on, don't hesitate to reach out, send me a DM. It's easier and faster that way, just to get you guys the answers you guys are looking for and help you guys out. All right, guys, have a great night.